I watched that documentary called Losing Our Religion yesterday. It's on Prime. Really good documentary. It's basically just about clergy and pastors who've turned away from their jobs, turned away from the faith, and because they've lost their religion, they say. And it was really good. Two things that I just really found so interesting. One, the big one is this. You listen to this documentary and you listen to what the pastors are saying, and there's a nun on there, and they're all kind of bitter. They swallowed the brainwashing pill. In some ways, in a second I'll discuss, they're not totally wrong about that. But here, the really interesting point is they're all talking about church stuff. Like one person said, no, God would burn a child in hell. And I'm like, you're right. It doesn't even say that in the Bible. That's my book that I published, Calvinist Universal Salvation, Whiffenstock 2024, which shows right and plain as day in Scripture. It never says that anywhere. Lake of fire is not hell. Hell is destroyed by lake of fire in Revelation 20:14. Why can nobody see this? 2,000 years, Augustine, Calvin, Wesley, the new theologians, nobody can see this. I really don't understand. Death and hell are destroyed in the lake of fire. This is the second death. And then the next verse, 2015, there's the lake of fire. All people are in it. Everybody's burned, or everybody's salted with fire at the end. Mark 9:49, salted. But those who are strong to the end are not hurt in the second death, Revelation 2:11. Anyway, but so that's church garbage. Okay, as I've said umpteen times this channel, and apparently nobody wants to hear this. Atheists, Christians, nobody wants to hear this. Bible and church are different. Okay, why is this so hard to understand? I mean, if Revelation 20:14 exists, like I just said, then we have proof that all our Sunday school teachers got it wrong when they told us that, be good or you're going to burn in hell forever. There's no verse. All the eternal fire verses. The only eternal fire is God. Okay, because hell's not an eternal fire. We just went over the verse, Revelation 20:14. Anyway, on and on. I've covered this in other videos, and it's in my book. My master's thesis, Evangelical Calvinist Universal Salvation, Lincoln University, 2023, etc. So, but back to the point, they were all talking about church stuff. A couple of them had other points, how could God choose one and not the other? But then again, that's not scriptural, because if God's choosing all, because if at the end, Mark 10:16, God goes and gets all the others that are not chosen, all the unchosen, and there's one shepherd, one fold, then that's not true. That's church garbage. So all these people, Richard Dawkins is on there. He's all pumped up like usual. The irrational church people, ridiculous. They don't listen to anything. Okay, maybe he's got kind of a point there, but he's fighting against church. Nobody's talking about, no verses quoted in the whole documentary. No talk about the Bible, nothing. And church and Bible are different. How many scriptures in the Bible prophesy that? 1 Timothy 4:1, 2 Timothy 4:3 and 4, book of Isaiah, book of Revelation, Matthew 7:15, wolves in sheep's clothing, Acts 20:29, when I leave you, grievous wolves will come and tear apart the flock. Not shall come, not might come, shall come and tear apart the flock. On and on and on. This is like the biggest theme in the Bible. Nobody can talk about it, and we have this false debate going on, atheists versus the Christians. And it's not, all of it's not even real. If you're talking about Christianity, which is Bible, that's a video I did recently, Martin Luther, saying if the church, it's all about Scripture. If the church doesn't agree with Scripture, we reject what the church has said in that respect, with that issue, whatever element it is they're talking about. Okay, sola scriptura. So, anyway, I think you get my point. There's a lot more that can be said about that, but I think you get what I'm saying. So all these clergy, this leads to the second point. All these clergy, they're kind of irritated. I swallowed the blue pill. yeah, if you're believing that Christianity equals church, you sure did. You're in the Matrix. You're not in reality, okay? Because Bible's different. Anyway, that leads to point number 2. The second point in this documentary, Losing Our Religion, about clergy that turned away, Pentecostal pastors. They had it's a whole organization, and they're trying to get more people in it. Wake up from the lie of Christianity, or other religions too, Islam. But the second point was very similar. It kind of is like this. They said, I've never experienced God. Answered prayer is false. I've never known God directly. I've never felt his presence, etc. And I'm thinking, if that's all true, then it kind of makes sense that you'd turn away, that you wouldn't believe. Because why are you going to believe in what you don't even know? That's why I say to Muslims. Often Muslims in the jail, we don't have very many. We'll have 2 or 3 at a time. They usually don't know really anything about Islam. But they'll know that, you're not supposed to... They kind of heard in prison or something. If they've been in prison and come back, you're not supposed to experience God. It's kind of an idea there amongst jail and prison Muslim brothers. And I'll say, well, how do you know? They'll say, how do you know? I said, I have experience of God. And they'll say, oh, I don't believe it. I'm like, that's fine. Don't believe it. I can't prove it to you. It's not scientific. I've seen him do works in my life. I've seen miracles. I feel his power in me. I hear him speaking. These are all things that are non-scientific. I can't prove it to you. We walk by faith, by sight. God has purposely made a reality where we cannot. I love all the apologetics and everything that everybody's doing. But you can't prove God scientifically, because if you did, we walk by faith, not by sight, that verse would be contradicted. 2 Corinthians 5:7. Okay. But who cares? Why? What? Not all information is scientific. There's lots of other kinds of information. And it doesn't matter. Only God can prove things to people. So anyway, the point is, when I went to church when I was a kid, when you pray, you kind of just talk in your head to yourself. There's no meditate on God. Psalm 104, my meditation of him will be sweet. We're going to meditate on him. Make contact. If he's there and you're pointing your mind at him, fix your eyes on, looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of faith, seek his face continually, Psalm 105:4, etc. Tons of other verses saying that. If we are to make direct contact, if he's there and he's real and we're to make direct contact, all we need to do is point our minds at him, and he should take down the veil and reveal himself. And that's what I contend happens. If I doubt not him but man, and if I simply reach out, cry out to him, just like it says in the scripture, I can feel him. This happens every day. And therefore, every day is a good day. If that's not going on in my life, then forget it. I don't want to go on. That's my drug. Jesus is my drug. So anyway, I think these people didn't do this. I think that they weren't taught this. People are following church, not Bible. Bible, every page. People have a direct interaction with God, crying out to the Lord, visions, dreams, miracles, etc. What's more constant in the scripture than those elements? Nothing. Direct contact with God. What do you learn in church? You don't really learn direct contact with God. You learn, there's unanswered prayer. No, there's not. We'll name a verse about unanswered prayer, and it's not 2 Corinthians 12:7-10, the thorn in the flesh. I can do another video on that, but that's not about unanswered prayer. That's about praying for sin, praying out of God's will, and God's not hearing you. John 9:31, he doesn't hear the prayers of sinners. It's like God doesn't even hear Paul. You asked me 3 times to remove the thorn in the flesh. It's like God doesn't even hear. Strength is made perfect in weakness. It's like different. It's like God's not even hearing him. Of course he's not. He doesn't hear the prayers of sinners. Him who worship and obey, them he heareth. Second half of John 9:31. So anyway, get to the point. These people, I don't think, are making contact with God because they've never been taught it. They're not really believing the scripture. A lot of them said, I never really believe the scripture anyway. I think that was a pretty dominant theme in the video. And if you're not, then you're listening. What are you getting your information from? You're getting it from church, from people, and that's different information. That's not about, I don't think that modern church is really about breaking through to God. It's not about breaking through to God, having supernatural experience. ecstasies of Christ, the joy of the Lord. In your presence, Lord, is fullness of joy, Psalm 16:11. Fullness. What about that? I had a guy tell me the other day, it's not a feeling, Chaplain Jeff. I'm like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? They will happily grope after him. Or I forgot the exact wording, Acts 17:27. We'll happily feel after him. What about that? If it's not about a good feeling, then forget it. God's not about joy. Yeah, he is. I can feel it every day. Anyway, so bottom line is these people were, I think, not having experience of God. And they're just talking to themselves and they pray like I think 99% of people are doing. I'm not trying to be mean by that. I'm just saying because people are, I think 99% of people or something are following church, not Bible. And for reasons I just said. So therefore, they're not going to understand that we need to make contact with him today, now. This is an emergency. We need to have contact direct with him every day. Or else we're going to, when we see him as he is, we become as we are. 1 John 3:2. We need that every day, or else we live in the false self. Humans have two selves. The sinner that God hates, we hate. Hate your mother, hate your father, hate yourself. God hates, Psalm 5:5. God hates the sinner. That's the false self, the first self of Galatians 2:20. I'm crucified with Christ and I no longer live. But Christ lives in me. The second one is the real one. We need to live in that self. That's the 1 John 3:2 self. So anyway, my point is to sum up this video. But anyway, these people turned away from God because they're following church, not Bible. They're not making contact with him. And so they're the bigger point is the first one. They're walking around saying, oh, that Christianity is wrong because of this and this, all church stuff. No, Christianity would be wrong if the Bible's wrong, which it's not. It's the pure logic book of reality, which, as I point out, this all my videos on this channel are all about. My book that I published recently, the Hyper-Calvinist Universal Salvation. So anyway, I think you get the point. This is a pretty amazing issue. Very revealing. The devil's done a great job of coming into churches and taking over and making it look so ridiculous. Now we've got Christians on Fox News marching around Washington, D.C. We got the best president, the war president now again, another war president. That's nothing new. And people say, oh, those are who the Christians are. So I go into jail. And it takes me a little while to some of these guys to get used to talking to me about Christ because they think that I'm that. No, I'm Bible. Love thy enemy. Thou shalt not kill. Everyone's equal, Colossians 3:11, so forth. So anyway, making contact with God and following the scripture for exactly what they are, our Christianity. And the whole video, losing our religion was not about that. It was about being angry about church ideas. So it's all a false paradigm, false dichotomy. If people knew the real Christianity, and there's reasons why they don't. I made a video on this a while back, a month or two ago or something. If people knew the real Christianity, just in the Bible, there'd be mass salvation everywhere. But anyway, last point, there's a reason why that God covers people from knowing that right now, and I covered that in a recent video. So anyway, thanks for watching.